Cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is in. The highlight of this movie is his encounter with the Q-tip assassin, and that is Tilda Swinton. It's a very brief segment, but it's probably the best segment in the movie. It is exceptionally entertaining and very enjoyable. This one is a lot of fun.
This is why and how you make movies.
So now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.
As you know, I was at the golf outing for the Community Foundation. I was absolutely amazed at the turnout for that and the amount of support that the Community Foundation gets to support, really what are the pillars of the community here. The library, the Historic Society, the school, our recreation programs. The fact that people are willing to, one, pay taxes, and then in addition, open their pocketbooks to give to these organizations is amazing.
Let's reveal our paintings, guys.
All right, there we go.
That looks great.
Maria,
Good job.
thank you so much for your tips and how to mix colors.
We got Dave out from behind the camera.
You did. I don't feel like I did too much in front of the camera.
It's
other than
awesome.
Paint,
It's awesome. You did a
thank
good
you
job.
guys.
Hello, Bethel Park gamers. I hope you enjoyed gaming this weekend. I'm your host, Anthony Veltri, with Ethan, Tyler, and Kara, the full group with our Santa hats on for the special holiday episode of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Battle for the Christmas Presents.
Wait, is that actually what it's called? They made a Christmas-themed All-Star game?
I took it away from you. Yeah. Watch out, we got 5 seconds left. Jesus. Oh, is that a boombox? Oh, who got the last kill?
I did.
You did? Okay, I think we all know who won this one.
Holy cow.
April O'Neil wins. Till next time, folks, you can see us again. Keep gaming. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Keep gaming. Everyone, see you next year.
Tonight we're going to read a book called The Girl Who Never Made Mistakes. It's by Mark Pett and Gary Rubenstein, and it's illustrated also by Mark Pett. Now, people no longer call her the girl who never makes mistakes. They just call her Beatrice. I think Beatrice had a lot of pressure on her from the beginning. Everybody expected her to be perfect all the time. And what she learned was that it's okay to make mistakes. You can learn from them. And the second thing that I think this book teaches us is that we should laugh at our mistakes, right? Nothing is ever so serious that we can't giggle about it. Laugh about it. Don't be afraid to do that, right? When you mess up, let it slide, let it go. It's no big deal.
Hello, I'm Denise Scaloni. Welcome to my first episode of Helping Hands. With this show, I'll be introducing you to guests who make a difference through their nonprofit organizations, companies, and things that they do to help others. Blood drives. We don't really think about blood drives until we need it or we know someone that needs blood.
That's very true. It seems to be either a tragic event happens in our community or in our country, such as, the Tree of Life synagogue,
Yes.
the concerts in Las Vegas that were a few years ago. I mean, several things, unfortunately, are marked by events.
Right.
And that reminds people to come out and give blood. You come in and then you have a mini physical, the actual blood donations, maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then we want you to stay for snacks. So there's, we want you to have water, juice, something to eat. Just make sure you're feeling A-okay. Know that what you're doing is life-saving. It's that ultimate pay it forward in my mind.
Today we're going to meet the 3 new council people that's going to take over Bethel Park Council starting in January. So we hope you get to know them a little bit and sit back and enjoy the show.
I decided to run because I obviously love Bethel Park. I've lived here since I was 6 years old. I got to see it grow and expand in my 34 plus years here, and all the improvements that the current council has made. I wanted my chance to be able to serve and continue on the path that the current council had put us on, that trajectory, and just kind of move Bethel Park into the future, build off of what they did, improve off of what they did, and just serve the people that I've grown to love over the years.
Well, as I said, I'm born and raised in Bethel Park, and I like Bethel Park. My kids grew up here. My grandson is going to school here now. And I just wanted to help to keep Bethel Park a great place like it's always been. I've been involved with the Shade Tree Commission for the past several years and other activities in the borough, the Community Foundation, and the Historical Society. And I've just been very lucky and have been blessed in having a good life and a good work experience and owning a business, and I feel that it's time to give back some.
So I think this area is wonderful. You know, I'm a real evangelist for Allegheny County and for Bethel Park. But it's that community service that I was really eager to pursue. Councilman Mowry did a wonderful job for a long time, and when I heard he wasn't running, you know, it seemed like a real opportunity to serve my community, to serve my neighbors, to get to know more people better. I'm so excited to learn more about my colleagues on council. I think we have an incredible group of people from a wide variety of backgrounds. And so that's, I think what I'm most excited about is just that opportunity to serve. And that's why I did it more than anything else.
Welcome, everybody. We're here at John Art Studio in the Southside Slopes. Our special guest today is a dear friend, fabulous photographer. You may know of his work or have his work in your home, JP DeRoll, JP DeRoll Photography. And the painting today was inspired by his beautiful photograph, and he can tell us where he took this and maybe some of his other places that he loves to shoot Pittsburgh. So welcome, and welcome, JP.
I took this photo between the Roberto Clemente and Andy Warhol bridges down along the river.
Nice.
There's that little refurbished little fishing
I know the
pier.
area, yeah.
It's my favorite spot in the city. Some of my best photos come from there. And
you like that angle.
Okay. Okay, we are going to reveal our Go With The Flow inspired by JP's photography. This was a little tricky one, and you guys did a fantastic job. JP, when's the last time you painted? When you were like 7?
I might have been younger than that.
That is very good.
Well, thank you.
Alan, love it. You guys did good.
This was so detailed.
It was.
Doing my 13th one that I hadn't painted in 50 plus years, I salute you for teaching me.
The first component of fitness is cardio, moving, using oxygen, aerobics. The American Heart Association recommends 150 minutes of cardio per week if it's moderate. Intense cardio, they recommend 75 minutes per week. So if it's moderate, maybe just walking, and that would work out to 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week, or 25 minutes a day for 6 days a week. Just moving. It doesn't have to be anything very intense, just a half hour of maybe walking through the department store, bringing it up a little bit, your level, until you can start to feel that you're getting breathy. That is cardio. Next up is resistance training. That can be anything that puts pressure on your skeletal system and muscular system. You can be doing push-ups against the wall. You can be lifting weights, yoga, any type of calisthenics that give you some resistance, like push-ups. That's resistance training, and you need that to build muscle and keep your bones strong. Next up is flexibility. We work our muscles, and then we have to stretch the muscles and become flexible so that we can do the things that we need to do without pulling the muscles. So we need to stretch, and that should be done 2 or 3 days a week. And try to hold the stretch for 10 to 30 seconds. make sure that you talk to the management and get a trainer or someone that works there to at least give you an orientation of the equipment and what you should be doing. And a lot of times they'll give you a program too. So make sure that you talk with them so that you know how to safely get through the gym, because not everyone that is working out in the gym knows what they're doing. And they might, give you a bad start. So you want to start safely so that you can continue on forever, for the rest of your life.
Thanks to you and the fire department for everything you do for the residents of Bethel Park and surrounding areas.
Not a problem. We enjoy it, and it's good to be part of the community and do everything we can to help out.
We just had a incident in Bethel Park, and fortunately no one was hurt.
Yep.
But we lost a complete house really quickly. There was a very quick fire that spread through the house, and can you tell us a little bit about what you know at this point? I know the fire marshal's report isn't done, but it will lead to some of our discussions today.
Yeah, the resident had a hot tub in their backyard, like underneath the porch in a deck. It had frozen up. They had bought a heater to try and unfreeze it because of how cold it had been. With the fire marshal's office and all, looking at the videos that they had from their Ring camera and all, it looks like they had a fire start around their hot tub around 25 after 2. We got called, I think, at 2:38, and we were there at 2:43 was the first units on scene. And the whole back side of the house, all 3 floors were on fire, and shortly after that, they had a collapse in the back and all. So, yes.
The smoke alarms, it saved their lives.
Absolutely, and you hear that all the time. Smoke detectors save lives, and they most definitely do.
Yeah, and then some people just shrug it off. They shrug it off and say, okay, I have smoke alarms in my house. I don't know if they work or they don't work, but they are critical to the safety of a family.
We send the donation letters out, and I'm not a person that's always wanting to beg for money, but we do run on donations and stuff, so when you get that letter, at least look at it for us.
And how are we doing on volunteers, actually?
We've actually been doing real good on volunteers. We've had an influx of new people in the last year and a half.
Marvelous.
But we can always use more.
No. How long does it take to train?
When you join the fire department, you're here 2 years on probation. There's a 188-hour class that's broken down into different modules so that you can take it. You have that 2 years to get the class and stuff done. We'll work with you to try and get you whatever you need. We'll send you to training. We'll give you a vehicle to get to and from the training. We'll give you all the gear. Everything's provided for you from us.
But all that is funded through the donations.
But all that is funded through donations, absolutely.
Hello, I'm Denise Scaloni. Welcome to today's episode of Empowering You. My guest today is James Proton. So you started the podcast, was it 2022?
Yeah, it was actually 2 years this month.
Oh wow, time goes by so
MJ
fast.
MJ Calloway, who MJ Calloway was our first guest. So you and people that, and what I thought I would do is I just say there are people that I know that I'm intrigued by, interested in, that I know will be a great conversation. So I reached out to folks like you and figured, and it started to get some legs, and we've done. Today, we actually posted our 102nd show. I put it out there, and if somebody else gets something out of it, if they're inspired by it or motivated, then that's a bonus. It's all the better.
Right. And it's therapeutic for you, but a lot of people read that and it resonates with them.
Sure. Yeah. Especially.
Is your message what?
Live, love, learn, pray, and inspire.
That's it.
Yeah, that's.
I wanted to let you. I know I wouldn't be able to get them all. That's right.
That's and you should ask Vince if he remembers that, because my dad told that to all of us. That was something he always used to preach, and he always said that if you try to do those 5 things every day, you don't have to do them, but if you try,
right,
you're going to end up having a pretty good day.
So the journaling, led to the blog,
Mm-hmm.
which led to the podcast.
Which led to the podcast. And somebody said, Diane Altland, who's Nick's mother, who's a colleague of mine, I met her in the engineering business. We were at lunch with a client, and somebody said that. Somebody came over to the table and said, I love your blog. You ought to do a
write a
podcast."
book.
And I said, well, yeah, and that led to the book. So it's all really kind of connected.
Hello, I'm Denise Scaloni. Welcome to today's episode of Helping Hands. My guests today are from Face to Face Healing. Face to Face Healing's mission is building support through a community of individuals dealing with cancer or conditions causing an altered self-image. They aim to promote healing through outreach, advocacy, interaction, activity, resources, and education. So I know the mission of Face to Face Healing is building support through a community of individuals dealing with cancer or conditions causing an altered self-image. They aim to promote healing through outreach, advocacy, interaction, activity, resources, and education.
Correct.
So let's go back, Karen. Since you're the founder of Face to Face Healing, and I know your story, but for everyone that's watching, how did this come about?
Back in 2012, I was struggling, was diagnosed with cancer, head and neck cancer, and I was going through treatment, so I had to have surgery, reconstructive surgery, chemo, radiation, and going through and doing the steps that the doctor encourages you to do. But also in that time frame, I was looking for support for myself. I mean, and my background is a nurse, also a case manager, so I kind of did my own case management throughout the process. But I was looking for support for myself. And when I was asking my doctors, like, hey, where do you send your patients? They're like, well, we don't know really where they go. So back in that time in 2012, there was nothing. And the only thing that I could find was something in the United Kingdom. So that was for head and neck cancer only.
Okay.
And then I started thinking about that because originally I was going to launch that in the United States via like a sister company, so to speak. But started talking to Louise Brown from the Shayside Hospital Foundation, who actually gave us our seed funding. And we were discussing it. And I thought, it's really more than, being a head and neck cancer survivor. It's really about that altered self-image that you actually have.
Right.
And that could be someone from burns or a car accident or really pretty much anything. And I identified when this was all going on, I was struggling, and then I actually identified with a veteran that was actually on TV because I'm in my bedroom, dark space.
Sure.
And then when I saw his commercial, I just felt like what he was saying, like it just clicked. And so it's for people with, prosthetic arms and legs. And, but the veterans, they do a great job supporting them. But us, I just felt there was a gap in care. And that's what case management does. You're looking for that bottleneck in the system. How do you make it better? And so that's when, I said, well, I didn't really want to start anything. I was looking for something to help me. But my doctor said, I think this would be good for you. Because I was very depressed.
Oh, sure.
Went from being an extrovert to an introvert, was afraid to go out of my house, having a hard time adapting to the facial, changes, and, being, not people not really seeing me as a person. They would actually not look at me in the eye, or they would, not speak to me. It was almost like I was an alien. So that was a struggle. And then I come to, just realize that once I get to a point that I'm okay with me, then it really doesn't matter what others see. And if they're not going to be a support or not going to be on board, with me and all of me, then they're not my person anyway. So I just kind of like very quickly learned that, you can't make everyone your person.
No, you can't.
So as much as you try, because I'm a people pleaser, but I just realized that, I have to let some certain things go. But it's just really trying to move forward and trying to help others. Like, even like with breast cancer, I mean, you have the scars and you have like the mastectomy and you're going through reconstruction, but your altered self-image as a woman is gone.
Right.
So pretty much, I mean, we do counseling. I do case management, help through the medical maze, but counseling to help them with their mindset and keep them in a positive mindset, because that actually helps and aids in their healing.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jack of All Trades. I'm your host, Jack Allen, and today we have kind of a special episode for you to see. Bethel Park, we really have our municipal side and we also have our police side, and those are the two main entities in Bethel. So today we're going to be speaking to our new municipal manager, Kristen Denny, and our brand new police chief, Dave Arnold, who's only been the police chief for 2 weeks. Before we talk about what's going on in Bethel, just tell us a little bit about your background, where you started. I think you grew up in West Mifflin.
I did. So I'm originally a Pittsburgh girl. I became a municipal manager at the age of 24, which is really, really unusual. And I was actually the municipal manager. My first job was in Dormont. So, you know, I grew up in West Mifflin, but I'm very familiar with the South Hills. You know, due to a whole different, you know, how careers go and how people move, I was pulled out east. And, you know, my family's still out here. My mom's still in West Mifflin. My dad's in Elizabeth. You know, I have cousins and aunts here in Bethel and also in South Park. So I always said if I was coming back to Pittsburgh, it had to be for the right community.
Right.
Wasn't looking for a job. Saw that Bethel was hiring, and I said, yeah, that's the community.
Time to go home.
And I said, you know, that's the community I would consider coming back to Pittsburgh for.
So just tell us a little bit about yourself, your family.
Sure. I'm a 23-year veteran here at the police department. I started in August of '01. I've rose through the ranks through the patrol division. I was promoted to sergeant in 2016, and then promoted to the administrative lieutenant position in 2021. And then promoted to chief in 2024.
Okay.
I have a wife and 3 kids. We live here in Bethel, and it's been a rewarding experience getting to work and raise your kids in a community like Bethel, the school district, the ties that you make with the community, whether it's through my work or through my personal life, it's been quite rewarding.
Hello, and welcome to the 2024 Live Well Bethel Park program. I'm Bethel Park Municipal Manager Kristen Denny, and today we'll be discussing the best ways to optimize our nutrition and exercise with Abby McCormick.
What I'll take everyone through is an example of a core exercise, a squat exercise, a hinging exercise, a pushing and a pulling exercise, and a couple different adaptations for all of those movements. Those are kind of the basic movement patterns that everyone should incorporate into their workouts, into their training, day-to-day life, all of those kinds of things. So we'll go ahead and show you a couple of different movements and ways to make them less challenging or more challenging based on where you're at. All right, so first we're gonna go through 3 different squat variations of varying difficulty. So the first one is gonna be a wall sit, which everybody loves wall sits from gym class or potentially soccer. And you'll wanna have, basically get as low as you can. The lowest would be 90 degrees with the floor. You can come up if you need to, if there's too much pressure on your knees, maybe try to move your feet forward a little bit and then come down. And then just try to hold as long as you can. Okay. And then if that's feeling pretty good for you, the next movement is gonna be a squat, which you can also use a box, a bench, a chair, you know, whatever you have at home or wherever you are working out, and feet a little bit outside of your hips, and then you're gonna squat down. Your knees can come forward, that's totally okay. They should come forward. Keep your chest up and try to squat to that box. If you wanna make it a little harder, try without the box. Try to go as low as you can. Your arms can go wherever. They can go up here, whatever you wanna do. You can make that more difficult or just change up how it feels by changing the stance. You could go a little wider. You could go a little bit more narrow. It's gonna be really hard for me. Yeah. So change up the stance, make sure your form's good, make sure you can keep your chest up, all those good things. The typical day, like strength training and cardio, would be 3 to 4 days of full body strength training. So that's going through all those movement patterns we just went through, all those exercises that I showed, squat, pull, hinge, push, core, and lunging. All those different movement patterns each day whenever you do strength training, that gets your entire body moving. It hits that way you can hit all different areas of your body throughout the week multiple times. and then fill in the rest of the days with a little bit of cardio, whatever feels good, whatever is fun. Go play outside, go to a trampoline park and jump around with your kids. Like, that counts as aerobic, and also it's fun and it's something that's enjoyable for you outside of the gym and just in everyday life. So 2, 3, 4 days of strength training, 2, 3, 4 days of any kind of aerobic activity, that would be fun. And again, kind of with all of that stuff is finding things that are enjoyable and easy to do, so you continue to do them.
You want to talk about what DECA is and how important DECA is to the community?
The DECA marketing program here at Bethel Park has been a tremendous program for us, and it's only continued to grow under the leadership of Mrs. Smoller here. She's done a fantastic job along with our students to really elevate the program and make it a premier program here at Bethel Park High School.
You're a senior this year.
Yes.
But you've been involved now for 4 years.
Yeah.
10th, 11th, 12th. Let's go back to 9th grade. That's a long time ago for you, I know. But,
yeah.
What got you interested in DECA? You joined in 9th grade. Did you know about it prior to coming to school here?
Yeah. My brother was in DECA for 4 years in high school before I ended up coming to Bethel Park High School. So I really kind of lived vicariously through him, all of his trips and all of his excitement. And I lived through the pictures for like 4 years, and then I was coming into the high school, and I was a COVID year, so like I was coming into the high school with like a really weird situation. But one of the things I knew was like I want to take marketing and I want to do DECA because Hunter did DECA for 4 years, so I need to do it because it looks so cool. So the Bean and Berry is our student-run coffee shop here in the high school. So we do different drinks like coffee, lemonade, and slushies. And we also have a bunch of different snacks and chips and everything like that. And we're open periods 1 through 4. And we basically get to use our marketing skills that we've learned through a class, and we get to develop those through DECA. So basically we work in the Bean to show off everything that we've learned throughout our marketing and business classes here at the high school. So each year we offer like business partnerships and business sponsorships all the time. So we actually have 3 tiers of sponsorships. So a $250 tier, a $500 tier, and a $1,000 tier sponsorship. So if you are interested in possibly doing a financial donation, that would be amazing. Or if you just want to do a time donation as well, we always could use volunteers to help judge us whenever we do our mock competitions or whenever we're prepping to go away to a conference. We could also use all the time. I was just somebody coming in to be able to listen to presentations anytime. So we would love to have anybody come in and help us out and help get us ready for these conferences. And if you can support financially, that's always amazing. We always appreciate it as well.
I'm happy to be at the Bethel Community Center today, and we're going to be focusing on a nonprofit agency called Lifespan. For those viewers who might not know, why don't you tell them what is Lifespan?
So we are a senior resource agency. So we have a few different departments within our organization. We are a nonprofit. So we have center services, which is the centers. So it's geared to get you out of the house, socialize. Yes. Then we also have protective services and a few other departments at our main office. But again, Lifespan, we are geared towards serving seniors in the community that are 60 and over. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 3. We rent a variety of different rooms off of the community center. We have a great partnership with the Bethel Park Community Center, so we are very lucky to be here.
Okay, so they're located here at the Bethel Park Community Center on Park Avenue.
Yes.
And so from Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. What is the benefit of joining Lifespan Bethel Park?
Perfect. So Lifespan Bethel Park is, I kind of think of it as a family. So a lot of people these days are widowed or widowers, and even if they're not, their spouses can come in and hang out, and that's exactly what it is. It's a hangout. It gets them out of their homes, it gets them socialized and interacted with other people their own age.
Yes.
So that is our key aspect here, is to keep people active and social out of a hospital or nursing home as long as they can.
And Crystal, how long have you been coming to Lifespan Bethel Park?
About 5 years.
5 years. Tell me, what is your favorite thing about coming here? What's your favorite program that they provide?
Well, playing cards. And I like to be out of the house and come here and meet those nice people.
I have never heard of this game. Regina, could you tell me about it?
I had never heard of it before I came here. It's fun.
You don't have to pay a whole lot of attention. You can still talk and carry on and have fun, and that's the best part about coming here is the camaraderie.
I say this every annual show, and I've been doing an annual show since 1988, so you can do the math. It's been a long time. And every show I say the same thing. When we're done with tonight's episode, you will discover that there are more of these movies we talk about tonight in your home video collection, whether it be actual Blu-rays, whether it be digital copies or stored on your DVRs, whichever way you collect movies. Now, there'll be more of these movies in your personal home video collection than there are in the ones that were finals for the major awards and the Oscars. You know, just before we get into things, a brief comment. There were some very interesting movies that were up for awards this year, and there were some that were certainly worth a view. And therein lies the rub, if you will. They're worth a view, and once you see them, they're done. Put them away. Really no need to collect them then at that point, is there? There is one exception, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Let's get on with tonight's categories. So I told you at the top of the show that of all the movies that were nominated for awards and Oscars and what have you, there was only one movie that was actually worth repeated viewings. I've seen it 4 times already, and I've enjoyed it every time. And of course, I'm talking about Godzilla -1. This movie was without question the best movie of the year.
Hello there, Bethel Park. This is Amy Taylor, and I'm coming to you from Bethel Park High School, where they are doing the production of the musical Big Fish this year. And what is this show about?
This show is really about navigating family dynamics. You know, as you grow older, you know, you watch people in your life, you know, start to spread apart, start to separate, and I think that this kind of navigates the emotions of everyone and how they feel. And Edward takes you on a crazy adventure through his life and up until the end.
Can you give us a little bit from this duet performance that you're speaking of? I'm not going to do the duet, but can you do with Bethel Park a little bit of your part?
Okay.
We would love to hear you sing.
Let's build a world of daffodils that never fades and never dies.
Wow. Wow. Spectacular. So what is this ball cap, cutesy little adorable outfit that you have on?
So right now I am Don Price.
Okay, who is Don Price? Tell
He's
us.
kind of like the most hated character in the show.
Oh, wait.
No one really
wait,
likes
are you
him.
the mean kid?
Yeah, kind of like the mean kid, the
How
bully.
did you get cast as the mean kid?
I don't know.
All right.
I thought I did pretty well in the audition.
Okay.
I'm happy with it. It's a
Okay,
fun, really
you're excited?
Fun role.
It's
Yeah.
a juicy role to play?
Yeah.
Excellent,
super fun.
excellent. Tell us a little bit about Don Price. Who is he mean towards?
So he's kind of like Edward's arch nemesis.
Okay.
So like they kind of like hate, like he kind of just hates him throughout the entire show.
Are there any
because
fist fights involved?
There is a fist fight.
Okay.
I get to punch him.
Okay.
Like in the middle of the show because he takes my girlfriend.
Ooh.
So.
And how many dances do you guys do up there on the stage?
A lot.
Like more than one?
7? I
more
think
than 3?
7.
7 or 8 dances.
7 or 8, yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, and Bethel Park, more importantly, wants to ask you to do one dance together. 5, 6, 7, 8. Wouldn't you love to come out and see them perform right for you on that stage? Bethel Park, come on out and get your tickets today.
The coolest thing, I think, was that legend holds that a total solar eclipse so terrified Louis the Pious in 840 AD that he literally died of fright. So
please Google him and you can interact with us and tell us who he was. I'm assuming he may have been a saint, but they didn't call him a saint.
They didn't call him a saint, so maybe he died too soon?
Maybe he was just a reverend and there were no miracles.
Maybe he was just very pious.
Hence Lewis.
He went to Mass every Sunday. A total solar eclipse in 1919 was used to help confirm Einstein's general theory of relativity. Okay, so
okay.
we're being told that we have our first look at the eclipse.
Oh, Corey just said you can see it clearly with the glasses.
Okay, even with the clouds?
Yeah, so Corey,
Oh,
thanks
look,
for that.
look, oh, it is. It's starting to come up from the, it comes up
we have
from
the filter on there.
the southeast corner. That was in my notes here too. It starts
I'm glad
in
it
the
came out. It jogged your memory.
southeast corner of the
We're honored to be
sun.
doing this. Way to go.
I know, this is great.
We got
This
it.
is historic, folks. So
Especially
there's
for BPTV.
There's our first look. Okay, let's see. Yes. Okay, we're getting ready to wrap. We're going to go outside.
We saw the eclipse starting.
Yes,
It's coming from the right, the lower
yes,
right.
the southeast corner of the sun is covered first, and then it moves up and across.
Yes,
So.
and that's what I saw happening there. We both saw it.
Indeed.
These glasses are great. My head's too big, so I got to hold them up there.
So your in-laws want to know if they could watch the live stream on BPTV.
They said, we're not going to get to see it here. And I said, but we might be able to send you a link.
Yes.
And we did, so that's pretty cool. And I hope all of our young kids are able to witness this and enjoy it. It's awesome.
Hey, I'm going to look up and try something unusual.
Okay, yes, the clouds have parted, so I'm going to put my
You know
glasses
what? I
on.
see it. It's about almost halfway now. I don't know if it's showing up on our camera.
Oh, wow.
I would love to. I just can't. I've been looking over town for the glasses.
Yes.
This is getting almost 97.2 coming up.
It's getting cooler, and it's getting very dim. So imagine how cool it is where Rob is, where he's in the path of totality, and it will be
Wow.
like a full moon night.
No, that is crazy.
We have, let me see, we have, I'm doing math.
Go ahead.
7 minutes. 7 minutes to
Yeah.
totality. We're at 3:16, according to my
You know what?
my
There's
Fitbit.
still
Well, we're not going to go
Is that
total.
2% of it?
Yeah, so we're not going to be total. It will go across and come out. Yes, so we'll know when we've hit.
Thank
we've
you, Dave,
passed,
for the clarification.
When we've passed the apex of totality, when we
Yes,
start
we
to
did.
see.
You got technical on
When
me.
we start to see light on the right side of the.
And look at lights at the
Eclipse.
library are on. We're covering it all here, folks.
Thank you so much for being the host of the show today. We will leave Bethel Park. We will show the rest of the eclipse, maybe not to its totality, but at least until 4 o'clock. But this is the end of your official interviews with Al and Christine. So thank you again very much, guys, for coming out for this. Thank you, everybody who watched today, and enjoy the rest of the eclipse on BPTV,
You're
or
so
go
welcome.
outside and see it yourself.
You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome. Goodbye.
Bye.
welcome to another episode of Jack of All Trades. I'm your host, Jack Allen, and today we're going to start a series on authors in Bethel Park. All right, my first guest today is Alma Gilliam, and thank you for coming. The show is about local authors, and I had the privilege of not only being at your book signing, but also reading the book, which is a very easy read. So,
thank you.
A lot of people know who you are because you've been here for a while. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Well, first I want to thank you for allowing me to come and talk about my book. I really appreciate that. I've been a resident in Bethel Park for many years, and I raised my family here in Bethel Park. And I was influenced to write the book because of my life experiences. And I wanted to share that with people that are going through different phases of their life. Some are struggling, and I thought maybe if I wrote the book, it may be able to encourage people and also to help them to focus on the things that is important in life. My life, I dealt with good times and bad times. And my good times outweighed the bad times, but
well, that's good.
But going through a lot of difficulty, I learned, and this is something you have to learn, how to cope with them. And it's not so much as our actions to tragedy or even things of joy, it's our reaction. How are we going to react to those things in our life? And I went to the daycare center on 88, and they said, well, we can't accept your son. And the reason said, now, Miss Gilliam, it's not me, she was the owner, said it's what the other parents would say. I was brokenhearted again. But however, we went down to the one on Brightwood Road, and there's a lady named Miss Yoakum, and she accepted my son into the program. But these are the type things that I dealt with. And even when my son Armin Gilliam played basketball, they had a banquet for all the players and the seniors at the high school. Me and my husband, I got dressed up. Me and my husband went, and they had all the players sitting up front with the parents. And when me and my husband got there, and they asked us, well, will you sit back here? Now I'm talking about in this time. Now I'm not talking in 1930.
Right.
And so, will you sit back here? So me and my husband sat back there in Armin. Now all the other players up there, and I'm fuming. I was mad. I was hot. I was mad. And Armin came back and he said, Mom, forget about it. He said, just calm down. Just calm down. Just calm down. And so, but anyway, the next day, I called up to the school, and I want to know how come we couldn't sit up with the other players and their parents. And she informed me, she said, well, Miss Gilliam, I wasn't the one who was in charge of the seating, and I'll give you her number. And I contacted her, and she said, well, that is the way it is or whatever. But you know what? Now, let me tell you something. The one that are listening, because of that, I believe to this day, because Armin came back, and Armin said to me, Mom, don't worry about that. And because of that incident, I believe in my heart that compelled him to excel. And he said, I'm going to show them because of that. But that's when he decided to go to independent college. And that's when he did, and then he went on to UNLV.
Right, and everybody knows the history of that. Up.
Well, today I would have to say he's my favorite artist in the world. The elusive, who is this? And we're at Jono's Art Studio. Who is this elusive Jono? Well, I think today we'll get the answer to that question. Who are you?
Hi guys, welcome. I'm John O'Prasic, and here is my wifey, Maria of Maria's Ideas. Welcome to our studio on top of the historic Southside slopes of Pittsburgh, PA, Jono's Art Studio. I've been here 24 years. My medium is I get sand from the Monongahela River and I use enamel paints. So this is totally different out of my wheelhouse, and I'm going to be taught by my lovely wife Maria and my good friend Alan, and I'm looking forward to not using sand and acrylics. I've never used them before. These brushes I've never used. And but I love chicken, I love fowls and a rooster, so I'm looking forward to that. And also this show, I'm honored to have it filmed in my studio here.
Welcome back. We are finished with our paintings, and let's reveal. You guys did great. Nice job.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
I had to change my cup of joe to a cup of green tea, and I couldn't fit the loose leaf green tea in, so it's tea.
I like it.
Yeah.
What's
Maria,
in your cup?
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. What's in your cup?
Lemon ginger and also decaf.
Oh, there you go.
I'm half and half.
All right.
Now that we got that out, thank you so much,
Yeah,
Maria, for our
thank you.
14th show
Thank
with
you.
a rooster on a cup of joe.
Yes.
I have another great guest. Will you please introduce yourself?
My name is Brian Marska. I'm president and principal owner of Natural Office Furniture.
Okay. Now, what do you want to do in the Marines? Because you got a few choices.
So when I went to the recruiter, so I wanted to be a Marine the whole time. That was the
Yeah.
plan. I tried to join at 15, and
Did you? Why?
I just wanted to do it. I was excited to get started, and
Wow.
they were like, "Look, you got to be
18.
You know, there's laws and legal. You know, it wasn't
There's
like
gray
It
areas.
wasn't like World War II where you
Just joined.
Yeah, where you forged a card.
Right. They're a little more
astute. Yeah, yeah. So I joined right as soon as I was eligible. I joined right after my junior year. Once you're officially a senior, I joined.
Oh, okay.
And then I still had to finish high school.
Right.
And then you finish high school.
Get
and
your
I was 2
GED
weeks.
or just finish the
No,
through high
I
school?
have a diploma.
Okay.
Believe it or not, a 1.2 will get you a diploma. I found it at 33, which is a little old. And I'm a now black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Isaac Greeley and and Chris Dempsey. And
congrats on that. It's hard work.
It's 15 years, So and a lot of coaching and learning how to coach and training and learning how to do everything.
And the respect for the other fighters.
And tremendous respect for the other fighters.
Because everybody
gyms.
puts the hard work in. That's why I appreciate what you guys do, and Isaac and Chris. And do that. They're helping me with Coliseum Combat Zones event, June 29th, All-American Fieldhouse.
It's an exciting
promo for me.
Yeah, no, that's going to be an exciting event. Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
And then we have coming up Party in the Park, which is very exciting. This is our 3rd year doing Party in the Park. So you can check out this promotion and learn more about Party in the Park. I'm late. Oh, I'm late. Oh no. Andy, I'm late.
You're not late, and you're not late. Nobody is late. There is still time for Party in the Park, May 25th.
And actually, before I go into the programs, I think that's probably a good segue into our summer learning program that'll tell you a little bit more about the adventure theme and how you can participate. What is adventure? How do you define adventure? According to Mr. Webster, adventure is unusual, exciting, and sometimes dangerous activity. So things like skydiving, mountain climbing, and whitewater rafting would definitely be considered adventures. But I think adventure encompasses a lot of different types of activities, even if they're not always dangerous. I love food. I love food. And consider my excursions to different restaurants around the city adventures. Even cooking in my own kitchen or here at the library can be adventurous, depending on the recipe. I have my favorite foods, but have also tried things outside of my comfort zone. I even, are you ready for this? Ate a scorpion on a dare. Now that was adventurous. Books can take you anywhere, and the Bethel Park Library has lots of books for you to choose from. So be sure to stop by this summer and check one out.
You can sign up for summer learning too and earn coupons and prizes all summer long. You can earn those by reading and by doing fun activities. Look, here's a roadmap you'll get whenever you register. There's even a spot here for you to create your own adventure. This map will guide you along all summer, and it will motivate you to read and to try lots of new things.
Hello, I'm Denise Scaloni. Welcome to today's episode of Empowering You. My guest today is Cindy D. Whitmer. So let's just start. Your bio said in your mid-40s, you find yourself at a crossroads. Yeah. And I think especially a lot of women, they get to a certain point, 40, 50, maybe even 60, and they look back and they think, is this it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear that question all the time from women. Is this all there is?
Is this right?
Who am I now? They're like, I don't even know who I am anymore. You know, and I think I got caught there too. I'd been married 22 years and my life was, you know, I mean, I had a career all along too, but my life was very focused on how to keep the marriage, how to keep the man happy, how to make kids thrive, you know, and kind of trying to be all things to all people. I was classically female trained, you know, that we're serve the whole wide world.
Right.
And so I took that very seriously in all areas of my life. And then by the time I was in my mid-40s, I was so exhausted. And I was like, I can't continue down this path I am on. I am just spiraling down because my whole life was others focused. You know, it was about the clients, it was about the family, it was about the husband, it was about the community, it was about the schools, it was about what everybody else needed.
Right.
And I know there is joy in service, but it was out of balance for me. And I had almost completely forgotten who I was as an individual and what I wanted in life, just for me. I mean, I wanted to be a wife, I wanted to be a mother, I wanted to be all those things, but you know, who I was just as a person.
Right.
I just find women in that situation so much. And so that was a big wake up call for me.
Okay.
And I found my now second husband and am just ridiculously happy with that second chance at love and life with someone. And I just began again. My second chapter began again. And now I teach women that there is hope, no matter what they've gone through up to that point in midlife, and that it's not all downhill from here. You know, many of them think what they have to look forward to is aging, illness, and death, kind of this, you know, it's all downhill from here. It's too late for me.
I'm too old to start over.
Yeah, there's a lot of myths around that I teach in the book, and so I'm here to debunk them all and to teach women how to turn it around.
Today we're having Kristen Normau, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the history through a book that she wrote a few years back.
I'm a huge fan of Bethel Park. Love the community.
Yeah.
So glad to be here. You know, it's the one place I wanted to come back just because this is where my family's from.
No, good. So we're going to talk a little bit about your book that you wrote, and I can't believe it's been that long ago. I still have my autographed copy in my office upstairs. So.
Oh well, thanks.
But what inspired you to write or put this book together?
I was a member of the Bethel Park Community Foundation in 2005. And had been a trustee for about 6 years. And there had been some discussion about doing a coffee table book, you know, just pictures maybe now and then, stuff like that. But in the meantime, I got communication from Images of America, Arcadia Publishing, who does the Images of America book for Bethel Park. And they said, do you think there's anybody who'd be interested in doing that? And I was like, yes, that sounds amazing. I would love to do that. So I volunteered to do it entered into a contract with them and then set out to get it done because it was a good fundraiser for the Bethel Park Community Foundation because they donated 50% of the sales of the books back to the community.
Welcome to Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint. We're here on the slopes of South Side in the hilltop here, and we are so excited to have our amazing, talented friend, internationally acclaimed mezzo-soprano, Marianne Cornetti.
Hi, Maria.
Thank you for you just where you came back from somewhere recently,
I was
right?
just in Berlin.
Yes. So to make
Singing
time
La
to come
Gioconda.
and oh my goodness, so
Welcome
around
aboard.
the globe. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Al.
much.
So nice to meet you
Nice
and
to
be with
meet
you.
The street lamp dies, another night is over, another day is dawning. Touch me, it's so easy to leave me all alone with the memory of my days in the sun.
And reveal the finished paintings.
Okay.
Okay.
Wind begins to moan. Memory all alone in the moonlight. I can smile at the old days. I was beautiful then. When the dawn comes, tonight will be a memory too, and a new day will begin. Every street lamp seems to beat the fatalistic warning. Someone mutters at the street lamp gutters, and soon it will be morning. Daylight, I must wait for the sunrise. I must think of a new life, and I mustn't give in. When the dawn comes, tonight will be a memory too, and the new day will begin.
Okay, we are back to reveal our finished artwork. Let's see it, Marianne and Alan.
All right, here we go.
Fantastic. And you
I
said
did it!
you haven't painted since you were a kid.
A kid.
You're
That's
amazing.
60 years ago.
Amazing.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to 5-Minute Bedtime Stories with Missy Lane. Tonight, I'd like to share with you what could be considered a holiday book, but I also think it's great to read anytime throughout the year. It's called Always Everly, and I'd like to dedicate it to my friend Alexis, who I know used to read this with Mrs. O'Grady in Mrs. O'Grady's class. And she's getting a big hug. Everly realized that being different was a good thing. She was so overjoyed, she began to glow. Look how bright and beautiful now. She began to glow in her own perfect way. Now she's a Christmas tree, right? Yes. The end. And I think that's such an important message, boys and girls, for us to be who we are. We are all different, and that's what makes us so very unique.
Today, we are at the Shim Complex, more importantly, the Shim Garden Project. This is the garden where they are making the garden to produce the food for the pantry. So they're still going through the construction, making the food pantry bigger, better, larger, but the garden is going to be drastically larger. So I'm anxious to show you what's going on, how it's going on, and how they're planning this amazing new first-class, world-class garden here in Bethel Park.
So this garden here started in 2012. It was a prototype. We'll see if it's going to work, and we had great success. It was a 60 by 80 plot. We managed to grow 2,000 pounds of produce that year.
Wow.
Local congregations and a couple schools found out about the program, reached out to Shim to have us assist with implementation of their gardens, and that began our Community Gardens program that supports our food pantries. We now have 13 gardens that grow for us, and this garden here is being rebuilt because we just had a huge construction project and we had to remove the original garden that started the program 12 years ago. So we're here with an amazing group of volunteers and community partners rebuilding, and it's going to be better than ever.
And we are here with our friend Meg O'Brien, and she is the Director of Economic Development for the Hilltop Alliance. So welcome, Meg.
Here,
Thank you so much for having me.
Tilt your apron a little because you can promote.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
You know I'm all about promotions. Very good. I'll do my talking machine point. We got her on.
Yeah, so do wonderful things here on the Hilltop. You can let everybody know, what you do. You do a lot of things. But,
a little synopsis of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I work at the Hilltop Alliance. We are a nonprofit, and I specifically manage the business district programs in Allentown along East Warrington Avenue and Mount Oliver in Knoxville on Brownsville Road.
So I'm just going to, I think we're good. I'll pick out the little details after it dries. So, and then we'll finish and we'll come back for our reveal, okay?
Yeah, perfect.
So keep painting, right? And, okay, we'll see you in a few. Okay. All right, guys, we are going to reveal the finished paintings. You did so well. They are awesome. Yay.
Thank you for the expertise to get this done.
Oh, you guys did a great job.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank
You're
you for
welcome.
being here. We know you're so busy too. We appreciate your time.
We're entering the world of the macabre. We have another local artist coming right here from Bethel Park. And please help me welcome David Fairhead to the show. David, welcome.
Thank you, Rex. I
David
appreciate it.
has put out, I'm going to slide your glasses off here. David has put out a new book. This is not his first by any stretch of the imagination. And it looks like this. It's called Dead Memories. So already you can tell that this is not going to be something that's very superhero-ish. And those of you that have been following my reviews over all these decades know that I love horror anthologies. Those are a whole lot of fun as far as movies are concerned. This book, I think we could call it a horror anthology. I think that's fair enough.
appreciate
Even
it.
though some of the stories in there I don't think we'd classify as horror.
I should tell that story, shouldn't I?
Go ahead.
I got sick initially 5-6 years ago and hospitalized. I was there for about 5 days ICU. And I was, on medication, but I was still talking. And my mother and her boyfriend Eric came to visit. My wife Denise was there all the time. And they would hear it from the nurse, Dave is talking about seeing this cat. And literally sitting in my chair, or sitting in the bed in the hospital room, I would see this orange, fluffy, cute cat that would come visit me while I was sleeping, and talk to me and say, "Hi, I'm Boozle," and would talk to me. "You're going to be okay. You're going to get out of here." Now, of course, that's medication. It's everything. Who knows? And then I'd see him disappear, and I would tell the nurse. Her name was Chris. I was like, "There's been a cat in here, and I keep seeing it disappearing that way. What's over there?" She's like, "The next room, there's a window there, and there's no cats in the ICU, Dave." Like, okay, but I saw a cat. And I also imagined that I broke out of my bed, went to the break room and stole an ice cream cake from the fridge and ate the staff's lunch. And I told my mom and my wife, I'm like, you gotta get me out of here. They're gonna be mad about this. And there's a cat. No cats, no ice cream cake. There was never an ice cream cake. And I was beside myself with am I really seeing this? And then at night, there was construction going on and there was all kinds of noise and racket, and there was also a dripping sound. And in my head, I heard an animal licking out of a bowl of water. That's what it sounded like to me. Like, it's here. I called my wife and I was like, "It's in my room right now. I can't turn to my bed, but there's a cat behind me right now." "David, go back to sleep." All right. Well, the guy across the hall who had been there for a while, he had left. He was discharged. And I'm talking about this cat for a couple of days. And my mother's boyfriend went to the cafeteria to eat lunch, and he was in there with the people that were discharged, the guy and his father, or the father and son. And the guy said he saw a cat.
Ooh, a creepy one tonight, me hearties. Good evening. I am Davy Bones, the ship's navigator on the Swashbuckler's Haunt on Dead and Buried Treasures. Because our adventures are so expanded, there's barely time for the show itself and the hundreds of commercials.
There's not hundreds of commercials. Aren't you laying it on a bit thick?
No more than your aftershave. That's why they have sandwiched me into my own separate segment.
Speaking of sandwiches, I'm going to get one.
So, during this break, I am your movie-making guide placed here when most are getting a sandwich or going to the bathroom.
What is this, 1979? They've paused you, you corn muffin.
So, to keep this as educational as possible...
Too late.
Here is the backstage pass to Sisters of Death. The 1972 slasher classic stars B-movie star and former Playboy model Claudia Jennings in one of her first roles. Now, although I say slasher film, don't let that scare you. I've seen worse on TikTok or That's So Raven or Disney's Jessie.
Nice timely reference you have there.
Or SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, that's even better.
But the movie is PG and is very tame compared to the likes of Sorority House Massacre, The Initiation, Prom Night, Black Christmas, The House on Sorority Row, or the dozens upon dozens, if not more, that would follow in its wake.
So basically, there's hundreds of others out there not to watch either.
So, there's not a lot of blood and gore here, although it is the grandmother of all college-themed sorority slasher horror films and is considered the first of its kind, believe it or not.
Glad to hear. Put that on your resume. Are you LinkedIn?
So, the movie is more along the lines of another movie we've hosted on Dead and Buried Treasures, And Then There Were None, otherwise known as 10 Little Indians. Why? Well, this is one of those classics you have to watch until the end, just because just when you think it's over, it's not.
Kind of like your segment here.
Welcome back, me hearties. Forget those simpletons, Drake. You're almost out of time. You have to give us more time, Victor. Your attack damaged me rudder, and we are sinking. Finding your cargo is not as important as saving lives. On the contrary, Calico. It should be the utmost importance to get your crew off that bucket.
And then for book club on Friday, July 26th, we're going to be doing All-Star Superman.
one of those really great books. This is by Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley. Just a great story. They just came out with it. Coming out this first week in July, actually, is going to be the Compact Comics edition, which is a nice little $10 version of it, shrunk down, but the whole thing's there. So I figured that's a good way to get this out and get people to read it. So that's what's going on here at the store. It is a huge month for brand new comics. It's a 5 Wednesday month, so they even get an extra week to get more stuff out. So let's get started on it. Let's start with Marvel Comics. So keep abreast of what's going on. The website's pittsburghcomics.com. Facebook is Pittsburgh Comics. Twitter and Instagram are PGH Comics. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for Comic Previews Theater. See ya.
Nara, Japan, within hunting distance of Yashida's stronghold, ancestral home of Clan Yashida. Folks call me the Wolverine. They say I'm the best there is at what I do. This guy says different. He calls himself Cybertooth. Man considers himself the ultimate predator. To him, everyone else is just prey, especially me. In his eyes, I'm no more than a runt. I'm also the only one he's never been able to end. He's been trying since we met. Just to make the point, he slaughtered Silver Fox, the woman I loved, which has pretty much defined our relationship ever since. He either goes for me, or someone I care for.
Crying shame, I got claws on my feet as well as my hands.
My hope is, now that Cybertooth knows I'm alive, he'll leave Miku alone, and come after me.
That can cut through pretty near anything. Ain't near as fancy as your Anananium blades. I'll grant you that.
Just like always.
We are here painting. I designed this for our special guest, Mark Ferrari, Pittsburgh singer, songwriter, and he's going to play a song for us. Mark, welcome, and what are you going to play for us today?
The song I'm going to do, it's my newest song. It's called On the Run. We were on the run. She's my ride or die. She's my perfect crime. She's my alibi. Whoa, whoa, her name is like a lullaby. It echoes through my soul. It echoes through the night.
So we are back, and we are going to reveal our paintings. These guys did a great job. Musician, and now he's an artist too, painter. There you go. Very good, Mark.
Thank you,
Alan,
Maria. Thank
good job.
I want to talk to you about Cindy Stock. As I said in the teaser intro, we did a show on this, oh, good Lord, that's 13 years ago? Oh, man, we're getting old, huh? Still look good, though, don't we?
No, we're good.
And again, it's going on again this year, August the 16th and the 17th for Cindy Stock. It's a really, really good cause. It goes with the Yates Cancer Foundation. And sitting with me in the studio is Cindy Yates, who is the king headpin, if you will, of this entire organization. And I saw something first when I was looking through the publicity for this, and I thought to myself, this has to be wrong. This can't possibly be right. But there it was in black and white, and it has to do with, let me get this right, it's Wheels, Hope on Wheels.
Hope on Wheels.
Okay, Hope on Wheels is a bike ride, and this thing said 40 mile. That was a typo, right?
It can be 40 miles, but you don't have to do 40.
Cindy has this at her house. It's not like in an amphitheater somewhere or something. It's a beautiful house, by the way. It's a lot of space and a lot of room. And, a lot of times when you go to a concert, regardless of who's playing, there's a definitive barrier between people watching and the people performing. There's But you don't have that when everyone's at your house and everyone's milling around together, and you're talking to a guy and then he says, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm up next," and they shoot up onto the stage. So, I think that kind of atmosphere is something that I think it just adds to the whole me-in of the event, and just, should I dare say, promotes more harmony.
I would love to think that we promote more harmony, because really we kind of laugh and call ourselves Switzerland, because we have sponsorship for both Allegheny Health Network and UPMC, because it's all about coming together for a good cause, which is cancer screening tests and support services.
Let's start the timer right now. All right, I haven't cooked shrimp in a while. I got Argentinian shrimp. And they give you guidance on like how big they are. Like the lower the number, they're bigger shrimp. So this is 26 to 30 shrimp. And as you'll see, this gets a little convoluted. I had them frozen. I buy my fish at Fresh Time, and they had a sale on these, and they're pre-cooked, because shrimp, when they're cooked, they turn into a C. That means they're cooked. So I'll be heating this up for a little bit less than 5 minutes. Well, the tea will be ready, and we'll get that in a minute. Let's walk over here carefully. Here, throw it in. It's getting hot. And we use that wok to cook these veggies. Oh yeah, we got it. This is cooking up great. All right, we'll shut that. I always put the oven with my electric oven. It's older, 450. It is hot. I gotta crack a little window because it's cooler outside right now. First time in a week. All right, the tea's ready. And got to get the plate ready. We're getting there. A little hurried there. Let's see, we might be around 20 minutes. Yeah, we're close. Olive oil. We didn't beat our time though. I'm close and I don't want to hurry this. We got to do some shredding. And you just go quickly over the whole thing. Gets a nice ginger flavor. You know, ginger helps, it's healthy for you, and you can digest things very well. It helps. There we go. Rainbow peppercorn. And we're just about done. Stop the timer. 1936. 1936, I beat 20 minutes, first time in a month.
And today we are with Dr. Walsh, and what do we call this? We're going to take a walkabout today.
Sounds like a good day.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad we have this chance to be together. It's getting close to the start of school.
It's been a busy summer for you.
It sure has. Judging from the noise and the mess behind us, you'd never know that school was a couple days, a week away, but here we are. So you may not recognize where you are now, but we're standing in what used to be the famous ramp at Independence Middle School. Right in the heart of the school was a ramp that went up. Unfortunately, it was not handicap accessible, so one of the major project items for this summer was to replace the ramp with stairs and an elevator, and here we are with what is now the new main heart of the school, the staircase and elevator. And I'm going to ask Eric to tell us a little bit about what that part of the project required.
Oh, it was obviously it was a big job. You know, the ramp came up through here, the landing, and went around. A lot of concrete. We had to cut out not only the existing concrete and the decking, then we had the structural steel. We had to get that removed. And that was obviously a big project. We had to knock a hole in the wall to access all of this. Also, at the end of where the steps are here, we discovered, actually it was underneath the landing, it was a 17-foot pit. And no one realized that
So we
existed.
kept our skeletons, I guess.
Yeah, that's what everyone said. And they removed the concrete, and the thin decking was there. And we're walking on it and thinking it's no big deal. And then we come back an hour later, they peel it up, and there's this big pit. So
We almost lost you.
Yeah, we almost lost a couple.
Well, this was an amazing process and to watch, and huge progress. I think it was a source of stress for everybody. We're going to get it down and get it, the stairs installed in time for the start of school. And quite honestly, this went really quick.
Yeah, once we got the ramp demoed, we got the pit built, or the shaft built. That was fairly quickly. The steel above us set for the second floor. We got the stairs in. Obviously these were prefab, but yeah, this area went really, really quick.
And today we're going to a building in Bethel Park that everyone knows is there, but nobody seems to know a whole lot about it, with their executive director, Jim Guffey. You'll know all about Shim.
We moved here in 2009.
Okay.
So we were over in South Park, and not too long ago, 14, 15 years ago, we made Bethel Park our home, and we've been grateful to be here since then.
Right. And you're right in the center of Bethel Park.
We are. We purposely wanted to be next to the T. Transportation is a challenge for any family. Certainly if you're struggling financially, it's even more of an issue. So having access to the T was a key selling point when we were looking at properties. And the location has been great. South Park Road is probably more traveled than any of us would like to see.
Right.
But it's been wonderful for our exposure, and our one community garden outside has done wonders for drawing attention to the building because it sort of blends in, or used to blend in. We've done some things here recently to make that not so blending, but it's been wonderful to be here in the community. We had hoped to raise $4 million. We ended up extending our campaign by an extra year and raising $6.8 million. And one of the aspects of that was to make enhancements to this building, which has been here in Bethel Park for decades. We purchased it in 2008 and moved in the summer of 2009. And we knew then that there were things that we want to do. It's just taken us about 14, 15 years to get to that point. And now we've been able to do that. And it's been a great opportunity for us to make our services more accessible.
M&M Music is a locally owned music academy that was opened in 2021 by Michael Burnaby and Martina Caruso. They are located in Bethel Park and offer private lessons in piano, voice, guitar, bass, ukulele, trumpet, saxophone, oboe, flute, drums, and violin. In addition to M&M Music, Michael and Martina also operate a branch of the Children's Music Academy for kids ages 3 to 9. Here they are in action, working their magic with the kids at the Children's Music Academy.
Here we go. Children's Music Academy. Choo choo. Children's Music Academy. Choo choo. If you want to learn music, just say.
It was actually Martina's mother, my mother-in-law, that came to us with an idea of how to maximize our skills as musicians. And she said, why don't you start a music academy? We didn't really know what to think of that, but she actually approached us first with some materials online related to the Children's Music Academy franchise based in Denver. And what that program is, it's a program, like you said, for 3 to 9, where I like to describe it as a full spectrum music education for kids.
The things that I say just might matter to someone. All of this time I've been keeping my mind on the running away, and for the first time I think I'd consider the stay, because you matter to me. Simple and plain and not much to ask from someone.
Welcome back, mateys. The haunt is about sunk. We'll be underwater in just a few minutes. Jack, it looks as though Calypso's warning won't be coming true. She said we would have the opportunity to relive this moment in time, but nothing has changed.
Captain, she did say we would have the opportunity, but perhaps we have to make that opportunity.
Jack?
Well, she put us here, but nothing changed.
Because everything she said was hogwash.
Captain, you mean you didn't change anything you did in your strategy?
Jack, I'm not going to change my battle strategy because some nincompoop tells me my ego would get in the way.
Yes, but, did it not?
Welcome back, mateys. I think I may have planned this out, but we need a distraction.
Why, Captain? Why don't we just walk over there and tell them what you told me?
We can't, because that's the past. And if we bother any of that, the three of us won't be here right now. It also means we are here. But there are also two of all of us here. Two of you, two of Jack, and two of me.
Which is why we can't be seen just yet. If we disrupt any part of that, the three of us may never get back to change any of this in the first place.
So what do we do?
I have a plan. Listen.
Hey, Jack, would you like to help me with this crossword puzzle?
Sure, Mr. Bones. What do you have?
Okay, first word, 4 letters, another word for a woman. Last 3 letters ending in U-N-T.
U-N-T. Oh, that's an easy one, Mr. Bones. Aunt. Aunt is the answer. Like your uncle's wife, Aunt.
Oh, yes, that is better.
So I got my master's in exercise science, focus on health programming and promotion. So I went to the University of Pittsburgh for that. Okay. And I was a graduate student assistant, which meant I got to teach fitness classes for the school, for students, for teachers, and they paid my tuition, which was awesome because nice. I'm doing everything that I love. I'm getting this education on it, and so it was kind of just the best of both worlds. After that, I did an internship with Robert Morris University. So I was a strength and conditioning coach for their football team.
Very
so
nice.
I was there for about a year and a half. I worked mainly just with the football team, a little bit with hockey and lacrosse too, but learned a lot in that position. I loved it. I loved working with the athletes and just seeing their training regimen and everything that they put into it. From there, I had worked at a few other studios since then. I kind of helped to open another studio in the South Hills, and then really realized that I wanted to be on my own and kind of open up my own studio. So I had sort of a following around the South Hills of many different people that I had trained and taught classes to over the years. And, I was kind of at a point where I was like, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I can do this. And my one sister and my family were really supportive and were like, you can do anything. You can do this. You have all the capabilities. And whatever, you don't know, you'll figure out and we'll all help you with. Is that in there? Yep. Never had one boxing glove. All right. So you'll stand with your left foot forward, right foot back. This stance right here. And you ready? So your jab, you're going to throw this punch right to my mitt. Ready? Yep, that's your one or your jab. Good. It's your one or your jab. Nice. That's the punch that's thrown the most in boxing. You're just kind of getting your feelers out there, getting your distance. And then you come in with the 2. That's your dominant hand. You're going to twist that back foot like you're throwing a ball. So you're getting a little bit more power into this one. Yeah, that's your 2. Good. Your 2. Nice. And your 2. Good. One more. Good. We put them together for your 1, 2. So you're going to jab, cross. Yep. Nice. Ready? 1, 2. Good.
I know that's one of your favorite things about the book is getting to share it with young audiences. Besides here at this library, have you done that anywhere else in the community?
Oh yes, I do readings at schools.
Okay.
To kindergarten through some schools through 3rd grade, and then sometimes the schools have evening programs regarding building reading interest and themes,
Sure.
and I've read for groups of children there. Most spectacular thing here that inspired the books is that we had a mare that was retired off the racetrack, a thoroughbred, and she gave birth in our little
This
barn
barn.
here.
Yes, it's so
and I got to
exciting.
watch it, and then got to watch the baby grow up
Sure.
along with the mother, and then
And
in
this is
upcoming
the
books
mama.
was-
This is Polly behind us,
This
right?
is
I think
Polly.
she's in the shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, this immediately looked familiar to me, right? I recognize these stables from the book. I recognize Lady Thistle here. This is so exciting for me because while I've been on a farm, right, maybe
this.
to like Trax Farms
That's what she's asking.
for a fall festival type thing, I haven't been on a farm.
Okay.
Like in this way, like actually meeting and being up close and personal with these animals. In comparison to the books, like how old is Lady Thistle right now?
Okay.
And Polly.
Lady Thistle is now 6 years old.
Okay.
So years have passed in real life compared to the books. The books are a bit behind, but they will
But not by much.
They will catch up.
Okay.
Thistle is actually being ridden now by Dr. April.
Okay.
And Thistle's doing really well, actually. We waited until she was about 3 or 3.5, and then
Okay.
she began her training process. And so that process is going to be the topic of the next couple of books, actually.
The show is called Empowering You, and my guest today does just that. I don't know anyone that enjoys what he does more than Michael Devine. For decades, Michael has been involved with event hosting, live music, comedy, and radio.
I think a lot of what I really believe is that you keep adding positive things to your life. I mean, this is where I'm at now is a culmination of about 40 years of just, trial and error.
Yeah.
I do have a saying though, if at first you don't succeed, just give up because there's other stuff you can do. Well, first off, you got to understand there's a couple different avenues. You just can't jump in and say, I want to be self-employed. It takes a certain kind of person. And for example, the thing that I don't know if you're familiar with, it's called diver's panic. Okay. This is what a lot of people who are self-employed really should watch out for. A thing called diver's panic. Imagine somebody that's scuba diving, okay? They're having a great time, but then they start thinking, oh my gosh, I have a tank on my back. What if something goes wrong with that tank? And I have a hose going up here. I'm under the water. What if something goes wrong? And they start to hyperventilate because they're worried about what can go wrong. And that just exasperates the situation and makes something bad happen. So a diver's panic is something you really have to watch right from the very beginning. And diversify. That's the other thing. Anyhow, when that came down, I says, wow, I still would like to do something that would kind of help people out. And, I do all this this Comic-Con stuff. He says, wow, a ridiculous polka band would really cheer people up. And it took me a year to get people because everybody thought it was, that's a dumb idea. That's a dumb, I'm not gonna, even my wife was saying, I don't know who you're going to get for your dumb polka band. And I ended up not giving up. I got some people. The first practice was a guy showed up with a tuba who couldn't play it, a guy who didn't have a drum set but was playing a pie pan, and a female singer who put a clarinet in her mouth but couldn't play it.
So if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, that would be terrific.
Yeah. So I'm a storyteller. And for 31 years now, I've been in the broadcast industry as a reporter and an anchor. I like to say Bethel Park is not my hometown. I'm not a native of Bethel, but we've been here for exactly 20 years now. It'll be 20 years this Christmas. When we found out we were having twins, we moved out of the city and we're looking for a fantastic school district and a great community with a lot of connections. And we settled in Bethel Park, not knowing a soul, not knowing anyone. So, I had a full-time career in broadcasting at the time. And, you know, we've been here ever since, and I just really consider myself, you know, part of the community. Like, this is my home now.
Let's talk a little bit about your charities, because I know you're involved in a lot of different things, and obviously your daughters are going in the same direction you are.
Yeah.
Just let us tell us a little bit about what they are. And
So I, you know, being a reporter, you know, all of these years, I would go out and do stories, and you know, there was a lot of cameramen who wouldn't want to work with me because they'd be like, oh my gosh, we're going out with Kim, like she's going to be like writing checks to people and praying with people. And, you know, because we meet people at the height of their lives, you know, for something very joyful and uplifting or victorious. And then we also meet people, you know, at the lowest points of their lives, having gone through a tragedy or experienced, you know, something, you know, life-changing in a very negative and sorrowful way. And so, you know, as reporters, we're supposed to be balanced and not get our emotions involved.
Right.
I've never been that kind of reporter. And I don't, you know, I was not one of those to sort of shed my emotions and put that wall up. So I started making these connections with people, and you know, I would stand there and pray with them for a few seconds, or connect them with social services resources in their communities to get them back on their feet. And you know, I would come back and say, man, I wish there was something I could do on a larger scale to help more people.
So what is dynamic stretching? Dynamic stretching is just stretching with movement, and it has been shown to be very helpful to warm up your tissues, such as your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, your nerves, before an activity, whether it's just practice or a sport or a competition or even working out in the gym, more so than static stretching, which is the very common one where you do the stretch and the hold. With dynamic stretching, it really prepares the tissues for that activity. It brings blood flow, and it really helps prevent injury as well. So we tend to see that dynamic stretching is beneficial, you know, prior to an activity, whereas the static stretching, the stretch and the hold, is better for after activity.
This is the 4 things that we do with the Glock Foundation. The first thing is that we assist breast cancer clinical trial patients with financial support. This is one of our major things that we do and we help out with. Is so if a patient calls us and if they need food, we'll give them, like, you know, cards from like Aldi's, gift cards. We do that, and families really like that. And
it helps.
Yes, it helps a lot.
Right now.
And then if they need transportation to their like chemo appointments, we have a contract with Lyft. The second thing that we do is we provide educational grants for any healthcare professionals, but we always like them to have that little clinical trial component to them, so they're learning more about
Look what happened with you.
Right, yes.
God bless you and them.
Yeah. And I always tell you know, women that they should ask about clinical trials.
Good
because
point.
it's
saved
really
your
important.
life.
Yes, to consider that. The third thing is that we educate the general public about breast cancer.
That is so needed.
And then fourthly, we try to connect the patients. I have a support group, like maybe once every other month, but I call it a wellness support.
Yeah.
It's very positive, and we bring in, like, you know, different speakers and things like that.
That is great. We covered a lot, but I want to get your phone number or website out there so they can contact you.
All right, so if anyone would like to contact me, I answer 24/7.
Give us this number.
The number is 412-680-6496. And if you'd like to visit my website, you can go on glockfoundation.org. There's a donate button up on the right-hand side.
Hit that button.
Hit that button, or you can go to glockfoundation.org/donate.
And joining me today is local author Caitlin Starseski. So thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
We're so excited that you're here.
I'm excited.
She is the author of her first picture book, right? This is your very first
Yes.
one. First picture book. This house is so special to me. How did this all start?
So it's a combination.
Okay.
So my family actually, we did just move.
Okay.
And for me personally, anytime my children go through any kind of change or any big thing happening, for me, it's important to find a book to relate, because when you can when you can find words to your feelings, it makes you feel better.
So true.
So I also am a realtor full-time, and I work with a lot of families. And it's important to me when they have children to give them some kind of gift. Usually I like to tailor it to the kids and what they like and things like that, something for their new house. And I also like a book, but the genre of books for moving is very, very small.
It's slim.
Yeah.
Yes, I can tell you that because,
Yeah.
like I said, it's such an important topic. But when I go to order these books, the selection usually isn't that large.
Right,
So-
yeah. Usually I would do like a Dr. Seuss come over to my house, kind of a silly, goofy, but not a serious, emotional kind of thing.
Right.
So for me, I just had this idea and I was like, you know, there needs to be a book about feelings. And, you know, and I took the time and I did a lot of research and I, you know, put this together. So now I can give it to my clients. My kids used it for our move.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's wonderful.
And today we're doing a special video. We are down at the Bethel Cemetery where we have the board from the Oliver Miller Homestead, and we're going to be talking about the Revolution era graves and the people that are buried here. Just give us a little bit of background on yourself.
Well, I taught in Bethel from 1967 on, and have just loved it ever since we moved here. It's a wonderful community, and we feel like we hit the jackpot when we came here.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get involved with Oliver Miller?
Well, we're both history lovers, and we joined the Oliver Miller Homestead back around 2000 when we were retiring. And it just has taken off from there. We find it really an interesting place to be.
I am Reverend John Clark, first pastor of this church. I was born in New Jersey and graduated from Princeton. My wife Margaret and I came west when I was 63 years of age, called to serve two new congregations which I named Bethel and Lebanon. I always wore clothing which was somewhat old-fashioned, always wore buckles at my knees, a stock at my neck, and a powdered wig.
And we try to give people an idea of how much history is right here in this area. We have programs about once a month. We'll do certainly the Whiskey Insurrection or Whiskey Rebellion in July.
Okay, and you have a website if people want to...
Yes, we do. olivermillerhomestead.org, I believe it is.
Hi guys, as Maria said, I'm Krista Gauze. I'm one of the trainers at the National Aviary, and I'm really excited to be here today as Maria has been a longtime friend of the National Aviary for a long time now.
Love it
I'm honored to have you on here. I've been going to the aviary for, I don't know, maybe as long as it's been around, since I'm 68.
I met my husband there.
Always loved it, yes.
1988.
So always enjoyed it, grew up in Greentree, so it wasn't a long trip.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's a very fun place to visit.
So we're back. We finished our paintings. Fabulous job. I think maybe on your free time now, you just start painting, huh?
Well, we had a good teacher.
Gotta find
so.
that free time. Thanks.
Krista,
so let's
you did
review.
great.
Yes, Krista and Alan.
Thank you.
African penguins. Go check them out in person at the National Aviary.
Yes, go there.
We're there 7 days a week.
Ask
7
for
days a
Krista.
week.
Ask for Krista.
What are the hours? 10 to 5?
It's 10 to 5. Always check the website too,
Yeah.
because we are closed on occasional Tuesdays during the fall.
Yeah.
And unlike the Steelers, they looked at their fans with cynicism and indifference. For these were the same people who had booed and insulted them at mid-season when they were hurt and in second place.
Wow. What the heck? Just insulted the people of Los Angeles.
So
the heck with you, LA people. Wow, I don't remember that at all.
yeah, so that's
Maybe I just okay, I guess that's more Steeler favored, at least towards the fan side.
well, it's really not. So let me explain that, because that thing about the Rams players being at war with their fans, that's not just NFL Films making stuff up. It's very real. Offensive lineman Dennis Hara of the Rams, in the week leading up to the game, he gives an interview. This is a quote. Remember, this is a few days before the Super Bowl, and this is a Rams player. Quote, "We were glad to not have home field advantage for the playoffs so we could be away from our terrible fans."
They wanted to go on the road. They were happy to go to Tampa.
He also talks about how when the Oilers lost the AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh, and they came back to Houston, they had 30,000 fans greeting them at the airport after they
did.
lost.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Rams won the NFC Championship game, and there was almost no one to welcome them back.
I wanted to introduce you to Mr. Joe False. Joe used to be he was on council in West Mifflin, and he was the mayor in West Mifflin. But I wanted you to know him for what he did in World War II. So if you can just look at our camera and tell us about the flag raising.
The ship I was on was the USS El Dorado. That was the head of the 5th Amphibious Division at Iwo Jima, and all the way through all the other islands. On the first flag that was put up at Iwo Jima was put there by the Marines, who lost quite a few of their people getting up that high on Mansour Bachi. That flag up there, the first flag up there was a 3x5 flag. The Marine had it in his backpack. The Admiral said, "I'm in charge of this whole fleet out here in the Pacific, and there's 100 ships in my convoy or more." And he said, "And they can't see that small flag. So I'm taking the big flag down from the ship, and I want you to take it over there." The flag that was on the ship was an enormous big flag, extra big flag. He said, "And all those ships in this convoy that I'm in charge of," he said, "I want them all to see that flag up there." So we took it over, we got a Marine colonel, and we took it up there with the cameraman. And he had the flag already taken down and had it all wrapped and gave it to me. And he said, "We'll put that flag up there." The cameraman there, he's going to take pictures. He took about 6 different poses he got some of the Marines up there. And he asked me, "Do you want to get in that?" I said, "No." I said, "My job's done. My job was to take you guys here." And so we put that big flag up, and the Admiral was satisfied. He said, "This way, all those ships in my convoy here," he said, "can see that flag."
They'll be able to see the flag. So Joe was the one responsible for delivering the flag to the Marines up at Hiroshima, which is fascinating. So thank you very much for sharing your story.
Okay.
But sometimes a stink is not what you thought.
Hooray. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing it. And now can we talk a little bit about the message, because there is a very clear message in this story, right? How did you come upon it, and what made you have the desire to write about it?
I think what prompted the whole project is that my daughter was in high school at the time, and she came home and a little stressed because she had an assignment that she had to write a fable.
Okay.
And I've always seen myself as being creative. I like to
Sure.
write. I like stories.
Sure.
And I said to her, Kylie, it's not that bad. You just come up with a story that has a lesson. Let's talk about a skunk that doesn't think it stinks.
Wow.
That was the birth of the story. And then over time, the story built. And different messages were kind of built into it throughout. But once we had the foundation of the story, it wrote itself in my own head, at least.
Okay. How long did it take you for this book to come to full fruition? From the time where
from
you
that comment to publish?
Yes.
It
'Cause
probably...
it's quite a process, as we
it is,
know.
It is. And for me, there were a lot of different things that came into that process. One was writing the story, not really having a deadline, right? I just waited until the story developed, and I wrote from there. So from start to finish, I would say that it was probably a good 4 to 5 years.
Okay. And I think patience is key, right? I think some people are so just eager, which is nothing wrong with being enthusiastic and excited about sharing your story. But sometimes they become so eager that they maybe rush through the process. And I think having patience and taking your time with it and letting all those ideas fully develop is so very important.
Bethel Park, we are here with the one, the only, Mr. Christopher Plummer. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
How are you with dealing with this bunch of guys?
It's pretty awesome.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it is.
How is it taking the reins this year?
I thought it wouldn't be too bad because I have directed in the past, but to direct and be the tech director, so to be in charge of the cast and the stage crew, I have to switch hats quite a bit.
Izzy, that was good with the...
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
How I kind of steal James's coffee and then give it back to him after I take a few sips? There it goes, and I just go.
Yeah, she snatches it and then shoves it back.
Take a sip and I go.
No, I like that, and I like that.
Tell us about the day that the internet died.
Well,
how does the internet die? What's going on?
It's a play. I can't give that away.
Okay.
That's
okay. I understand.
That'd be a spoiler alert.
Mad respect.
But it's very funny. The kids are almost kind of making fun of themselves in this show because the internet goes out in this town, and everybody just loses their mind. They don't know how to react without the internet. They can't shop. They can't order food. They can't, they can't do anything. So they're trying to live like they would on the internet in real life. And it just causes mad chaos. And then it's a big surprise at the end as to why the internet went out.
On tonight's show, let's start with a movie that is searching for a genre. Now, it centers around the war between Sweden and Denmark and has a subplot of vengeance running beneath. The war scenes in this movie, I probably should tell you the name. It's called Stockholm Bloodbath. Don't get put off by the title. It's a weird title. The war scenes in this movie are absolutely brutal, but the connecting scenes are pretty funny. Now, remember back, those of you in my generation, to a TV show, Hercules, that starred Kevin Sorbo, okay? In that TV show, they took a lot of the Greek mythology and the adventures of Hercules, but all the characters surrounding him, especially Salmoneus and the other characters, were all very modern. They talked in modern idioms, they used modern slang, they modern tropes, they had modern ideas, and that's what made that show an awful lot of fun, because none of it obviously fit into the time period. This movie is just like that, and between all the hatchet hacking and the sword slicing, well, the characters are just talking like you and I would talk now over a cup of coffee. And this really tends to lead to the story and makes it, although psychotic, it makes it kind of interesting to watch. You know, for a more in-depth opinion on this, let us peel back the veils of time and head back to the early Cretaceous period. Check in with the nation's first and only prehistoric film critic, Rex Reel.
Writers Errand Lowe and Nora Lansrod pen a tale with no regard for timeline continuity. Director Mikael Hafström orchestrates the script in chaotic fashion, yet through it all, this film is fun to watch.
And that title is very interesting, isn't it, boys and girls? Old clothes for dinner. Who would eat old clothes? And that's exactly what Magali wants to know. Look at her confused face on the cover of this book. Magali asks her abuela, who recently came to live with her, what's for dinner? And abuela answers, ropa vieja. And Magali knows that ropa vieja in Spanish means old clothes. So she's very confused. Old clothes for dinner? This is beef? Mummy was laughing now. Yes, you picked it up from the butcher yourself. Magali's cheeks flushed as Mummy translated for abuela. Magali had never seen her grandmother laugh so hard. No one laughed harder than Camillo. Magali couldn't help but laugh too. Now, ropa vieja, the recipe is in the back of this book. And as delicious as it sounds, it's a little more involved, and you would have to buy more ingredients, right? Everything that you need for the sofrito, and then the meat itself. So instead of making the ropa vieja, I thought on today's show, we would make Magali's favorite dessert, which was the arroz con leche, okay? But let's just go ahead and finish this recipe up. Let's take out our cinnamon stick. We're just gonna remove that. That has been in there long enough to really absorb that cinnamony flavor. We have to add our vanilla. The recipe calls for a teaspoon of vanilla. So it's that same teaspoon that I used for my salt. I'm going to use it for the vanilla.